Our girl is destitute.
What conspiracy theory do you have?
You're the Feyre.
I'm Feyre. He hates Tamlin. He's also a bit of a petty bitch.
And yet, she decides, let me just shoot my shot and see it. I'm like, girl. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are we doing today?
Ugh, it's it's been a weird week. I will tell you.
Yeah.
Weird couple. For all the astrology girlies and folks out there, we're in the eclipse portal right now. So I kind of already anticipated the last couple weeks were gonna be pretty funky through at least
Yeah.
Sunday when we have our second eclipse. But man, it's been we are I guess we'll just jump into the Cauldron Save Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
We kind of, we talked about this ahead of time. Because it's a topic we want to talk about. We are seeing our First Amendment right just taken right out from underneath us. So
Yeah.
today, as we're talking, it's September 19th. 2 days ago, Jimmy Kimmel, basically his show got not canceled, but postponed indefinitely
Mm-hmm.
by ABC and Disney. We're not going to go into the details. If you want to know, you can look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we wanted to talk about it because, that is the media. We are part of the media as a
Yeah.
podcast, even though we're still very small, but
Mm-hmm.
this is going to affect everyone. And,
Mm-hmm.
we're very aware that Jimmy Kimmel is a very privileged, white man who's
Mm-hmm.
rich. So he is far from the only person who has had his First Amendment right taken away. There are many more before this who are
Yeah.
far more marginalized who have been. Um, and the reason we want to talk about this specifically is um, the fact that someone in as high of power as Jimmy Kimmel and also Stephen Colbert, because Stephen
Yeah.
Colbert had his show actually canceled a few weeks ago. Um, the fact that they're getting targeted makes it that much more scary because that means anyone can at this point.
Yeah.
Um, and for those not aware, it's specifically over comments he allegedly made about Charlie Kirk. They weren't made about Charlie Kirk. They were made about Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter,
Mm-hmm.
saying that he is probably MAGA. And as of this recording, there's a lot of indication that that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this is so scary that the Trump administration is shutting it down. This is blatant fascism.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that Hitler did and Mussolini did and Putin is still doing. So, um, yeah, we want to bring it up. We know there are a lot of topics that are just as, if not more important than this
Yeah.
that we haven't talked about. And the only reason why is those topics are, I think, would require much more in depth, longer conversations
They
that
would require their own podcast. Yeah.
exactly. And we are also just not experts on some of those
Right.
subjects. We do talk about those in our own lives, like on our own, social media platforms and within our personal lives to our friends and family. So we do talk about them. We just, this is an ACOTAR podcast and we can't dedicate an entire episode to some of those topics, but
Yeah.
this is something that affects everyone. This is the
Yeah.
First Amendment right to freedom of speech. And unless this gets handled soon, uh, it's going to be a long, dark road, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for myself. I am encouraging people to boycott Disney and any ABC companies. I mean, it works. Money, when you target the money that the rich people make, they actually will sometimes listen. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's more that it's a marker for something, right? This happening. I think it's more, you know, while yes, it is very it's sad for Jimmy Kimmel. It's sad for that entire crew who doesn't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
but I think unfortunately the bigger thing is just more what it represents, more of
Yes.
the very scary slope that we're going down. And again, like Ariel said, there is a lot of other things that are going on that are horrific and that are scary and that are devastating and traumatic to a lot of people. We're specifically bringing this one up because we just feel like it very much pertains to what we're doing. We are using our First Amendment rights to have this podcast to speak about powerful women overthrowing
Mhm.
governments and tyrants. We feel like it just directly pertains to what we're kind of doing right now, and that's why we're kind of deciding to choose about just discuss this specific subject. And yeah, it's just it is a terrifying thing. I saw someone today post a thing about how, like, Germany did have like freedom of speech and freedom of like the press
Yes.
like at a, in the slow rise of Hitler's power, and those were some of the first things to start going
Yeah.
away. And I think that's just this is a really terrifying time. And so I too will join Ariel and David in the boycotting. And yeah, this is a bit of a scary, that's an understatement. It's this is a very scary snowball that we're
Yeah.
commencing. So
Well, and as you were saying that, it's not funny, but it's this does actually I'm realizing directly pertain to Akatar, because if you think about it, Amarantha took away the Spring Court's freedom of speech with the curse. Like, they
yeah,
literally were not able, they physically could not tell Feyre about the curse,
yeah,
right? Like, they were silenced. So this is, I mean, you can make an allegory, right?
yeah,
To that. So it does directly relate to Akatar. And again, it's not just Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder, many people have been fired from their jobs for just daring to even post the quotes the man himself said.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, it's we're in some scary times, but I think this is why folks like us, kind of flock to romantasy, because most romantasy is about fighting the good fight
yeah,
and fighting against the tyrants and the fascists and the authoritarians. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, so that's kind of our joint Cauldron Save Me this week, because
yeah.
it's been a crazy one. I do have one on a lighter note.
Oh, yay.
Sort of lighter note. Corinne knows a little bit. I haven't told her the full story, so
Well, and really quick before you get into that, I
yeah,
think I think I kind of love that we're jumping to like a sort of like funny story because
yeah,
I think this is a very strange we've been in this strange time for a bit. And so this is probably a common phrase that we've all been hearing for a while, but like, you know, guys like use this piece of information to educate yourself about what's happening,
yes,
to, you know, find ways that you can help in whichever way you believe or what have
yep,
you. Um, and then also remember that it is okay to if you are in the privileged enough space to do it, it is okay to be gentle with
yeah,
yourself and to escape a little bit.
yes,
Ariel has brought up many times about how joy is a form of resistance. So, like, if you are able to be that person who can dedicate every single hour to being an activist, then fucking we love you. We appreciate you. All power to you.
yes,
Not all of us are built that way, and that's okay too.
yeah,
So try to find try to find the balance, and I know we all are right now, but like it is okay to escape to your romance, to your
yeah,
fantasy. It is okay to jump off and have a silly story about
yeah.
apartment life. So,
Well, and I
yeah.
would especially encourage those who have dedicated their lives to activism to especially find
Yeah.
joy, because I think you
Yeah.
guys are the ones who need it the most, because
Yeah.
you are in the thick of it and doing the work that most of us can't do. So, like, you folks especially, I hope, prioritize finding joy, because you deserve it. And actually, that's a huge theme in all of Sarah J. Maas's books, is
Yeah.
finding joy in the
The
really dark
moments.
times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call my personal Cauldron Save Me
A
joy, because
joy.
it's certainly not joyous, but it is It's it's silly.
Yeah, so what's been
It's
going
one of
on?
those.
Tell me.
So we had to start a little bit later today recording because pest control had to come to my apartment today because the other day, so it started off on today's Friday, started off Tuesday night. I'm in my bedroom and I just see a little bug crawling up my curtain. And I didn't really pay attention to what kind of bug it was. I screamed for David and he got the vacuum and sucked it up. And I was like, thank you for saving my life because I fucking hate bugs. And then the next day I'm in my bedroom and I see another one. So I vacuum it up and then I see another and I'm like, that looks like a termite. And I'm going to say no less than 20 that day came out of our wall. We luckily figured out where it was coming from. So we had on like kind of my side of the bedroom, we had like a little baseboard uh on the wall facing outside, and there was a gap between the baseboard and the floor. So they were all coming out of this one gap. So luckily maintenance came by like that same day. They were able to caulk it and like no more have come out since. But because it's termites, that's obviously bad. We luckily live in a building that I'm pretty sure is like mostly stucco. So
Mm,
that's good, but obviously
yeah.
has probably a wooden structure. So pest control came by today. They are general pest control, which fun fact, if you don't know this, I know this only because my dad works in property management. They like there's normal pest control and then there's like termite pest control. They're like separate like pest controls. So
Yeah.
the general pest control came by, we showed him the pictures. He's like, "Yep, those are termites." So we're gonna have to have like an actual termite pest inspector come out. Um, Luckily, he said he's like, "I'm 80% sure of this. You probably won't have to leave the apartment." Because that was our big thing of like, even if we have to leave for a few hours, like we have cats and the cats
Yeah.
would have to leave too. So we have to find somewhere to just like take them for a few hours, which luckily we have like friends and family and stuff. Um, but he's like, "I don't think you'll have to leave. Definitely are not gonna have to tent or anything like that." Like he said, that's for like when there's like a massive infestation and
Right.
like the
Yeah.
house is collapsing, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like they'll probably just have to like get on our walls and treat it a little bit and then that's it. So we're really, really hoping that's it. But yeah, we have termites.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry,
It was just like
bro.
it was on a day too, and, like, luckily, it kinda worked out because like, it was this one day where I actually didn't have anything, like, in particular that I needed to do, and so I'm like, "You know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna spend today getting some stuff I would have had to do over the weekend in my bedroom," and that's why I was able to see, like, I because normally I work in my living room.
Right.
So, I wouldn't have been in the bedroom all day that day normally, and thank God I was because if I hadn't been, I probably would have come in, like, I don't know, to go to the bathroom or something a few hours later and seen, like, 20 fucking termites just swarming our room.
Oh my god. Oh
And
my
they're the wing
god.
type too. That's the other thing. They can fly. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. So, again, not joyful, but, nothing earth-shattering,
No,
luckily, just
nothing
annoying.
I mean, like, nothing earth shattering because you guys are in, like, an okay place that you can kinda, like,
Yeah.
deal with this, like, that's, like, yay, but
Yeah.
fuck, dude, that still totally sucks. Ugh.
So annoying. I will say I'm glad I would rather have termites over cockroaches weirdly because I can't like cockroaches just can't fucking
Well, that
stand
that was the
them.
other thing I was gonna kinda bring up is, like, you're not great with bugs, and so the next thing I was gonna ask is, like, have you been able to sleep okay? Or
Oh yeah.
have you been
Yeah. They sealed it up,
okay,
luckily, so we haven't had any in the last couple days.
okay, good.
Termites, it's like very specific bugs, like
Yeah,
the one that I will
right.
not name that we dealt
Yes.
with last
The
week.
monster,
Um,
yes.
the monster, those are like my worst ones, and then cockroaches I'm like not great with either. Um, if you know LA, cockroaches are inevitable. So we've had a few. Normally, honestly, the cats get them first, thank God. So,
There you go.
um, or at least alert us to them, and then I
Right.
just scream for David and he kills them. So, but no, we've dealt with ants before. We've dealt with a variety of this is LA. Like
Yeah.
LA, it's so funny. I feel like New York usually gets the bad rep of like cockroaches and things like that. in my entire 3 years living there, I think I saw maybe 3 cockroaches
Yeah.
total. Like, and I think almost all of them were, like, outside too.
Yeah.
Here, though, within the first month of living here, I'd seen, like, at least
Yeah.
100. So,
Yeah. I also love the irony of, like, me being someone important in your life who literally grew up, like, daily killing cockroaches as a young child in Florida.
yep.
So, like, they do not affect me, like, at all. Like,
Like
I can grab a paper towel and just smush that little baby, and it just, like, does
ugh,
not affect me at all, and so I just love this. It's just like, "Look, the universe provided for you, baby girl. Like, look,
truly, truly. It's
it
so
gave you me
funny.
and David. Like, we're ready."
For real.
So, chapters 37 and 38 this week.
Some fascinating
Some
chapters.
really fascinating chapters. So, last time we left baby girl, she completed the first task, kicked some fucking ass.
Ugh,
Just
was a
such a queen.
queen, warrior
Um,
queen
warrior
princess.
queen, but ended in some pretty bad shape. Her arm
Yeah.
is fucked up. And so we are greeted with this at the beginning of chapter 37.
One thing I wanted to clarify, because I was actually just editing the last episode and we weren't sure. I will say I thought I was sure and I was wrong. So I'm going to correct myself. I thought when they talked about her wounded arm at the very end, when they I think it's the last page, she mentions what her arm looks like, and the way I read it was her own bone was sticking
Yeah.
out of her arm, and you'd read it correctly because you thought it was one of the bones that she used as like a tool was
Yeah.
embedded. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I think it's her own bone. I was
Yeah.
incorrect. You were correct. It is a bone that she used as a tool or fell on, I guess, in the trap that's embedded into her arm. And that kind of comes into play in this chapter,
Yeah.
which is like so fucking brutal.
It's really fucking brutal. And like the whole beginning of this, I mean, it's really just like half a page really of the description before Rhysand shows up, but like
Yeah.
it's it's brutal. Like it is
Yeah.
bad because she is an experienced enough like hunter and has been around poverty and all this stuff long enough to kind of like start seeing some of these like signs. And
Yeah.
there's even kind of some of these moments that you can tell that she is like she's kind of trying to like not basically have a panic attack, right? Like she kind of repeats certain things like in her head a little bit, and but then when she started bringing up the fire, like, and she's like a
Yeah.
kind of fire that made everything a bit muddled. Like it's like, oh, that's a
It's
fever,
bad.
and if you have a fever, that's infection.
Yep.
Because I also
Which she
completely
denies. She
yes,
denies it at first.
she's like, "It's not like" she's like, "It's not a fever, it's not a fever." And what's so hard too is she's not letting herself go to sleep because she wants to make
Yeah.
sure that she's not infected,
Mhm.
but then that's stopping a healing process from happening.
Yes.
And right, baby girl basically is just like hoping and praying that Lucian's gonna kind of show up because there's really no other situation. Because something you reminded all of us at the end of the last episode was that she's still covered in the mud
Mhm.
from the monster's like pit, basically, which we
Yeah.
kind of realized is a combination of a lot of really gross things.
Well, and actually, this is perfect segue because I kind of want to, like, in a quick bullet pointed way, go through everything that's happening to her because I think it's important. So,
Yeah.
first thing is, it's been days since the first trial. She is caked in this mud, and the mud has, at the bare minimum, a combination of the monster's excrements
Yeah.
and just bodily fluids,
Yeah.
dead people,
Yeah.
and their bone fragments, and then God knows what else. Okay.
God knows. Yeah.
This piece of bone, who is that is the bones of a deceased other
Something.
person or fairy
Yeah.
is embedded in her arm, her left arm, which I think she's right-handed, so luckily it's not her dominant arm. That arm will not stop bleeding, and
Oh
she's starting
god.
to yeah,
I forgot
it
that it's
keeps
still
bleeding,
bleeding. I forgot
and
about
it's
that.
been days. It's been days since she got that wound, and she's starting to panic over this, which is not good.
Not good.
Only increases those cortisol levels.
Yep.
Her cell is freezing cold,
Yep.
and she's caked in mud. She wakes up with a horrible blazing fever that, like you said, she describes as feeling like she's on fire. She's having difficulty swallowing.
Yep.
Her eyes are so sore that they hurt to keep open, and then the room starts spinning. So in conclusion, I don't care what she says, she's fucking dying.
Yep.
She's dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are at like DEFCON 1, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's bad.
Well, I mean, it's funny because even, like, later in the chapter, right, Rhysand is even kind of like, you're already coming to this realization
Yeah.
that you're dying. Like,
Yeah.
you've already gone there, like, mentally.
Which for Feyre to do that, I mean, let us not forget in the first trial when she's like I think it's the part where she's wedged between before
Mhm.
she realizes the monster is blind. She's like that is a scenario where like I think anyone other than Feyre would think, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking die today," and
Yeah.
she is telling herself, "Not today, not today,
Yeah.
not today." So the
Yeah.
fact that she is mentally going there, that means it's really fucking bad.
Well, and that's what I also think is something to bring up is that what's so different about this time is that it's not because she's like physically stuck somewhere. It's because her body at this point is basically turning against her, right?
Yes.
When you've reached a certain point of wound, blood loss, infection that like we can't you can't just like solve out of like sheer ferocity, right? Like you
No.
can't
No.
there's nothing you can do there. And like for Rhysand to be the one to show up is
I
just
mean,
I mean, it was so weird reading it, right? Because you kind of I kind of had this moment of just being thankful that someone else was there, right?
right?
That like someone else showed up. But for
Yep.
it to be Rhysand, you're just kind of like, okay, well, this isn't really I know that we've been having a slow, like, confusion over him, and
Yeah.
these next 2 chapters just continue the confusion of how the fuck we're supposed to feel about this male. But, like, it's you're just like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, why are you here? Are you just gonna, like,
Yeah.
taunt? Like, what are you doing?"
Yes.
And I think it's really interesting because pretty immediately we get these like 2 little quotes from him
Mm.
that I find very weirdly comforting. So it's
Yes.
like on page 330, um, you know, he's looking at her and she's already of course, Feyre's fucking dying and she's like, "Go to hell."
I
You
I
know?
love that. I'm like, "There she is."
Yeah, and you also know it's really bad because, like, he keeps getting closer to her and she can't move, she can't get away from
Right.
him. But he says this thing where he goes, "What would Tamlin say if he knew his
Mm.
beloved was rotting away down here, burning up with fever? Not that he can even come here, not when his every move is watched." This
Yeah.
is a weirdly comforting thing to hear, right? Because we have been so frustrated as readers of just like, what the fuck is
Oh.
Tamlin doing? Right?
Yeah.
I know. It's weird that it's comforting.
That's a really good point,
But like
yeah.
I wrote, I was like, why is this a weirdly comforting statement? And it's
Yeah.
because we're basically kind of getting this like roundabout explanation of like this male's every twitch, movement, eye flake, whatever is
Yeah.
being watched. And even though
And
Rhysand is kind of saying it in this way of like he can't even come here. So like don't even hold out. But
right.
it's almost this back end of like, "Oh, thanks for the explanation." Like it's kind of this
Yeah.
like weirdly comforting piece of info to just be like, "Okay, all right. Well, that makes me feel better about, like, all the other things that have been going on a little bit with
Right.
him." Right?
That made me realize something actually of like,
Yeah.
aside from getting that confirmation of every like move that Tamlin makes is being watched, I just realized that also means potentially a lot of his thoughts are too, because let's not forget Rhysand reads
Right.
minds.
Yeah.
So even if
A good
Tamlin
point.
is formulating in his head some kind of a plan, his thoughts aren't even fucking safe.
Dude, so like, I don't yeah, I that you bring up a really good point. Like, I just wow. Wow, having
Yeah,
one of
I
those
just I just
overload moments.
realized. I
Like,
know, right?
yeah, well, because it kinda, and isn't that, like, what you just said, and I think a combination of this statement from it's this very bizarrely comforting thing of,
Yeah,
yes, it's scary because it continues to punctuate that she really is, like, very alone, but
yeah.
it also is this, like, thing of, okay, it's not that he, like, doesn't want to. It's like that
Right.
he, like, actively can't do anything, and I think you bringing up the,
Yes.
um, mind reading thing actually kinda throws me for a loop because, like, that's a really good point. Like, that means he
Same.
can't even really formulate plans or
No.
anything because, yeah, because Rhysand can kinda just, like, enter, and we have no idea what, like, we have no idea what Rhysand's, like, day to day looks like under the mountain, right? Like,
Right.
we have no
Yeah.
clue. I mean, next chapter, we get maybe, like, a slight concept, but, like, not much.
Yeah.
Like, we're not given a
We
ton.
get some
Given
we get a little hints,
We're
but
getting
he
some
has a
hints, but, like, we don't
he
know what
has
he's
enough
doing.
freedom.
Yeah,
No, he has enough freedom at the bare minimum to come into Feyre's cell, which
right.
I think even though we don't get any explicit like confirmation of what he's doing, we get these little hints, right? Like he's clearly trusted enough by Amarantha to go about under the mountain doing somewhat of what he wants, enough to go into Feyre's cell,
Well,
right?
yeah, to go into her se I also just love how these, like, these fucking males just, like, appear in her cell and
Okay,
then
we need
just,
to
like,
talk about
leave, and
this.
you're just like, "Fuck off." Like, "What is this? What are we doing?" Like, what is the point of the cell at this? I mean, like, it's for Feyre, but it's like,
Oh,
"What the fuck?"
but it brings up teleportation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, like,
Which
with Lucian, it was a little, like, he could've just backed into I think I described it at some point as, like, Homer Simpson, like, that
yeah.
meme of him, like, going to the
Yeah.
bush. But with Rhysand, at least, like, on page 330, it says, "The door actually did move then." No, not the door, but rather the darkness around it, which seemed to ripple. And then you get this sort of, like, bookend at the end of the chapter where essentially the same thing happens again. So, like, question of like,
Yeah.
is does he have this power to teleport? And maybe Lucian does too. Is this the thing all fairies have? Is it just some? There's some questions around it, but either
Yeah.
way, both of these Fey males were able to get into Ferricel seemingly without opening the door and definitely getting past the guards.
Yeah. And, like, you know, the one time Lucian came, he was like, they're doing a switch of the guard, so, like, he
Right,
has some sort of, but it also it seems that, like, Rhysand doesn't really seem to care.
right.
Um, so it's, yeah, it's very, like, he clearly has a certain amount of freedom. Um, I'm still also, like, kind of, like, terrified by the amount of power this male, right? Because, like,
Right.
what he ends up doing for her in this chapter,
Yeah.
and he's supposed
Yeah.
to have dampered power, like, it's just kind of like,
Oh, well, okay. If we're gonna
because
talk about
they talk
power,
about that, don't they?
oh, so we need to talk about his powers for sure because I mean at the very least he heals her, right? Which we'll get into the
Yeah,
nuances of
yeah,
this
yeah.
healing in a bit. But before we do, he has the ability to heal her. And this is actually why they start talking about his powers. She's like, "I thought your powers were dampened." He
Right.
said, "They are. They are dampened. And I am still left with this power," right?
Yeah.
And then I think it's because of that I forgot exactly why, but Tamlin shapeshifting gets brought up. And Rhysand says that actually all the High Lords can shapeshift. So it's not just Tamlin. All 7 of the High Lords can shapeshift. And he actually, or maybe this was the next chapter.
Yeah, so it's page 342 in
Yes.
chapter 38.
So Feyre says, so you can't shapeshift. It's not some High Lord specialty. And then Rhysand says, oh, all the High Lords can. Each of us has a beast roaming beneath our skin, roaring to get out. While your Tamlin prefers fur, I find wings and talons to be more entertaining. And then he actually starts to like kind of shape. He doesn't, I don't think, fully go into shapeshift mode, but
I
he
think that's because
shows
he
his
he
wings.
shifts as far as he can. I think that's as
Yes.
far as he can at least that's how I feel like he makes it sound.
Yeah. But
But
he definitely shows at least his wings and his talons, which is fucking
bro,
scary. Like,
he's like a human dragon,
yeah.
and I'm sorry. I'm feeling a lot of extra complicated emotions here because
I
I
mean,
I am a lover of dragons. And for
I
anyone
mean,
who is not watching, I'm holding a dragon figurine that is just casually sitting on my desk that if you have watched our TikToks, you have seen in one of them.
yes.
I
Well, and not for
am
nothing, we're fourth wing girlies too. So
exactly like
like,
such obsessed with dragons for a really long time. Fourth wing girly. Like I'm a little like, Mama Mass, what are you doing to me? Because this
well,
is a little it's a little hot. I'm sorry. It's a little fucking
look,
hot that
this.
I know it's scary. I'm also a Howl's Moving Castle girl.
Oh, I mean,
This is literally Howl. This is literally Howl. Like he changed, he has wings, he has talons. Like, what are we doing?
at this point, I think it's safe to say, because I know as a first time reader, when I first read this, I was wondering some stuff too. I was having
Yeah,
some feelings too. And this gets into the question of like, are we getting into the morally gray man trope here?
right,
Right?
right.
Like, because rereading this chapter, I gotta say, or these chapters, I gotta say, I was actually shocked how not an asshole Rhysand was. Like, I was expecting him to be way more of an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
And he
Like,
actually isn't. And he kind of like, aside from the obvious of like him fixing her arm and then the next chapter helping her with the lentils, which that's we'll get into that. It's such
yeah,
a
yeah,
weird
yeah.
chore. He he definitely slides some information to her.
Yeah, he does. And I definitely want to save that for after like we talk
Yeah.
about the bargain. But yes, there
Yeah.
is like this sort of slow information uh, like I don't want to call it a like a stream, but there's like a very slow like dropping of pebbles of some of like
Yes.
information that whether he because we also know he's very like slimy and clever. So
Yes.
there's also an element where you're like, is he purposefully slowly feeding her information, or is this stuff that's like kind of accidentally coming out? Like there's just a
Right.
lot of stuff with him that I just feel like you can't tell what his like purpose is. Cause there's some stuff that he says in chapter 38 that I literally wrote like, I don't know if this guy is entirely loyal to Amarantha.
So
Because
I yeah.
just the vibes, because also, and maybe I'm going to use this to kind of bring us back to the bargain. Because
Yeah, yeah.
even doing the bargain
Yeah.
in the first place, it feels very ballsy and it feels very because and we kind of talked about this in the last episode of like Rhysand kind of feels like that sort of petulant first child, right? Where
Yeah.
of like of the villain, right? Of where
Yeah.
they're not great, but they love watching their parent like kind of fail, right? So
Yes.
there's an element of this that I'm still kind of always wondering like, is he just being a brat and just wants to fuck with
Right.
his authority figure, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of this could still be that, like it could still very well
Absolutely.
be that. But doing this bargain in the first place, there's an element of this to me that is like, he is making a bargain to be able to have her basically for a
Yeah.
certain amount of time,
Yep.
which means if he wants the bargain to come true, then she has
Mhm.
to survive under the mountain,
Right.
right? Like, he's not gonna get her to come to the night court if she's fucking dead.
Right.
And we also find out that he actually was the one who bet on her to
Oh,
win.
that was so yeah, so that I'm having so many thoughts moment. Okay,
I know,
so
it's like overload, this one.
if this chapter is kind of overload. So, okay, the whole reason I think we can pretty safely assume at this point he even offers to strike a bargain with her to help her is because she won him a shit ton of money. He
Yeah,
is the one person, but at the end of the last chapter, Amarantha said there was only one person who bet on Feyre that she would win the first trial, and we find out that was Rhysand, which, if you
yeah,
recall, end of last chapter, right after she says that, she basically says, like, Rhysand, come over here,
yeah,
right? Which also begs the question, why?
yeah,
Why did he think she would survive? Like,
yeah,
that's a pretty big I mean, he's a High Lord, so presumably, if we're to go off of what we know of High Lords from Tamlin, they have a shit ton of money. So
right.
it could have just been like, he's a big spender, he's bored under the mountain,
Yeah,
wanted to make a risky bet. That is
yeah,
absolutely a possibility, right?
totally, totally.
Regardless of his reasonings why he bet on her, he did,
Yeah,
and he won.
yeah,
And he even says, like, yeah, I you made me a lot of money, so here I am, right?
yeah,
So I think it's pretty safe to presume that that's why he's offering to fix her arm. But he doesn't like I think it'd be one thing if he was like, tit for tat. You want me money? I'm going to repay you. But
yeah,
he doesn't do that. He's like, if you want me to fix your arm, we're going to strike this bargain. And in theory, he could have made any bargain with her.
yeah,
But this bargain is very specific. He
yes.
makes this bargain to have her for 2 weeks. I mean, they negotiate, we'll get to that. But the original bargain is you will come to the night court for 2 weeks out of every month. That's half a month.
I was gonna say, that's like I love how he tries to make it sound like it's like such a short amount of time. You're like,
Yeah.
2 weeks of every month, bro, that's half the month. Like, so that literally that's
Together,
2
that's
weeks
half
on,
a
2 weeks
year.
off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Like, yeah,
And he
that's a very long time.
I mean, it's joint custody if you think about it,
Yes,
like, between him and
it is.
Tamlin.
It is him and
And there's
Tamlin.
no he does not give an end date.
No,
That's the other thing. There
no.
is no end date to
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yes.
it is indefinite.
Yes.
So, eventually, on page 334, Feyre bargains with him and gets it down from 2 weeks to, I believe it is 10 days? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
a week, a
A
week.
week.
They make a deal on a week, which is still a quarter of a month, a
Yeah.
quarter of a year, a quarter of however, like, who the fuck knows how long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know why he wants her to come for any period of time because on page 334, as they're kind of like negotiating, uh Feyre asks him why and what are to be the terms. And Rhysand says, "Ah, if I told you those things, there'd be no fun in it, would there?" Which, like, I'm actually pretty surprised. I mean, I am surprised and also not surprised that Feyre takes this bargain knowing so little because, like, on the one hand, she's not typically someone who does that, but on the other hand, like,
Yeah.
she really has no
She's
choice. She will
she's dying.
die.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, she even says on the next page, I couldn't think entirely of the enormity of what I was about to give, or else I might refuse again. Like, so
Yeah.
she knows this is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, we're all left wondering, like, why the fuck does he want her?
Yeah. Why does he want her? It's really hard to not make your brain go to some very dark, nefarious places, right?
Yes.
Especially as two people who identify as women.
Yeah.
It's very there's a lot of really bad headspaces that I know that I'm sure we both and I'm sure many readers have gone to.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of that unfortunately I do think Rhysand is playing
Yeah.
off of. Like, I think he is purposely being, you know, a little cheeky about this kind of.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is we don't know. But all we
No.
do know is that for him to be able to get, like, Feyre, if and, she does say yes, she gets to be healed immediately, right?
Yes.
The things he gets out of the bargain, he only gets if she survives under the mountain,
Yeah.
which then basically means that he is rooting for her
Yeah.
to win, which causes a lot of fucking questions.
Yes.
And mixed with some of the things we'll get to for the next chapter, that was for the reading of this week, there's just a lot of little things that you're like, what's your game? Like, I'm starting to wonder, does he just want to overthrow her?
Amarantha.
Like,
Yes.
does he just want Amarantha's power? But yeah, there's a lot of questions here because this bargain, he only really gets his reward from this if she wins. So,
Well, and I think that's an excellent point, and it was actually something I was about to bring up, so I'm really glad you did because yeah, I think at this point it's pretty safe to at least wonder how aligned are his and Amarantha's agendas, right?
yeah,
Because also
yeah,
let's not forget, like, Rhysand is still a High Lord of Prithian, and
right,
Amarantha invaded Prithian, right?
right.
So does he truly believe in her cause, or is he playing her? Right?
Yeah. And we don't have any, like, all we really have is that, you know, he he gave a head as a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Feyre is there, he attacked her mind. Um, like, and we know that him and Tamlin have some really bad history.
Yes.
And kind of some of the shit we've heard about Night Court, that just the
Yeah.
Night Court are like some pretty fucked up beings. But besides that, we don't really have any lot, like, kind of
Well,
concrete.
well, we do know before him and Tamlin had beef, they were friends. And in
That
fact,
is true. Rhysand does tell
Rhysand
us that,
trained
doesn't he?
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rhysand
forgot
trained
about that.
Tamlin as a warrior.
Yeah,
So again, this brings up, is he our morally gray man, right? Like
yeah,
it's a big question. And also, I mean, like just thinking back to like even just him and Feyre, because and I going back to what you're saying of like, especially as women, like this could go to a very scary place.
yeah,
But and I think that is like the natural, very valid, like first thing one would think of. I'm
yeah.
gonna devil's advocate it a little bit because I th- I do wonder if he really were like evil. There's some things that he has already done that don't align with that. And I think the first example is how we met him, where he saved Feyre from getting assaulted.
True. Very
So we
true.
have
Very
that.
true.
He
That's a good point.
also knew perfectly well, even though, yes, he is responsible for Claire Better dying. Let's not forget that. But he knew that Claire Better was not Feyre.
Yeah,
He saw that woman, knew perfectly well that is not the
yeah,
woman I saw in Tamlin's court, and basically protected Feyre by pretending Claire Better was her.
yeah,
And now we're having him make this bargain saying, I want you to come to the night court at this point now once a month.
yeah.
He's not saying why. So all that together makes me believe. And also, if he was like evil, right? He could be torturing her in this cell,
Like, right now,
like
absolutely.
right
Yeah,
now. And this would be
absolutely.
prime time. In
Prime
fact,
time.
the guards actually possibly know he's in there and think, oh, he's probably torturing her, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so, and I mean, in the next chapter with the lentils, right? Like he
yeah.
helps her. Like,
I know.
why wouldn't
Yeah.
he hurt
Well,
her then? So it makes me wonder, is there a bigger game he's playing?
yeah.
And how does Feyre like, I'm starting to wonder, is Feyre someone that we just don't
Well,
know?
you bringing this up makes me think of kind of what he ends up saying at the end of this chapter,
Yeah.
which is, I'm almost aligned with Feyre, where I
Yeah.
think she kind of lands on this too,
Yeah.
of like, currently, I feel like she's a pawn to fuck with Tamlin.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
feels very what a great thing to say to the guy that you fucking hate that, "Hey,
Yes.
for your lady to survive, she has to spend a whole week with me every month."
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
ugh,
But that's what I mean, is
ugh,
she's
like,
someone
just
in
the
that
n
sense, you know,
exactly,
like a
yeah, yeah,
pawn or something
yeah.
like that.
So I do feel like it feels very, like, alpha male
Yeah.
bullshit, which, she's so it's interesting. She's so disappointed in herself,
Yeah.
right? Like, at the end, she's like, "Oh my god, like, why didn't I see it? Like, why didn't I see that, she's just, like, a pawn,"
Yeah.
right? And what's really interesting is, like, I kind of had this moment where I was like, "Well, I mean, is this is this better
Yeah.
almost? That
Yeah.
it's not that he actively wants you really. He just
Right.
kinda wants to, like, fuck with somebody else. Like, is this a
Yeah.
little bit better? And also, does it really fucking matter? Like, because here's my question, right? Because she does this whole
Yeah.
back and forth in
Yeah.
the sense and she does this whole back and forth of, like, should she just wait for Lucian? Should
Yes.
she, like, blah, 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 and she kinda goes through this thing, on page, on 334 when
Yeah.
she's just like, Lucian had underestimated my abilities in the past. He'd never quite grasped my limitations as a human. He did send me to hunt the Suriel with like a dagger.
Yeah.
Like he did kind of like also I think I think the other question too is like how frequently can Lucian actually come?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of questions here, and in my mind, how Sarah has presented how bad Feyre is right now, I feel like we have, like, a night until this girl's about to die. Like, I
Oh,
literally feel like
at
she is going
most.
to die in the next 12 to 20 hours, right?
Absolutely.
So, like, does it really fucking matter if you're a pawn in something between him and Tamlin? I feel like right now you did what you needed to do
Yes.
to live another day, and
Yeah.
then we will deal with the resand of it all
Yeah.
later. Let's just
Yes.
survive the night because, like,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like this almost what something you and I've been talking about that has nothing to do with Akatar, but like
Yeah.
we reach a point sometimes in desperate times
Mm.
where your emotion about a situation, you don't have the privilege to make the choice based off of an emotion because
Yes.
you are in such a dire scenario
Mhm.
that this is a black and white situation.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you die or do you not? You do
Yes.
not have the privilege of health
Yeah.
to be choosy right now. And
Right.
unfortunately, Rhysand knows that. Like
Yeah.
he's very aware. He even kind of says on page 333, like already you're wondering if that fever of yours is the first sign of infection. Maybe the monster's mud isn't full of festering filth. I already know that you've slowly been realizing you're dying. So,
Well, and I
like,
think I mean it certainly matters if she's a pawn, but I think what matters more is she understands that she is possibly or really probably a pawn, right? Because
yeah.
when a and this is any scenario, I would say, when a pawn realizes they're a pawn, that actually in a weird way kind of gives them more power because they know they're being used
Mhm.
and they can manipulate because the person who's using them as a pawn probably is under the assumption that they don't know the pawn doesn't know that they're a pawn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you know you're a pawn, you can kind of manipulate the person who's playing you,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
think it's actually it kind of in a weird way might give her an upper hand in that sense. Pun not intended because
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
well,
Yeah.
actually, speaking of that, and I think to your point that he's Rhysand is using her as a pawn to get to Tamlin, which I have some questions about that we'll get to. I definitely think that that's probably what's going on because the tattoo. So
Bro.
when she strikes this bargain, she blacks out because of the pain. She wakes up, her arm is fixed. She's also bathed, which is interesting. He like, and
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't bathe her, but like
No,
he
but he cleans
magics
her.
her, he cleans her, and then she notices on her formerly wounded arm, now fixed, there's this big ass tattoo.
Yeah.
And it actually part of the tattoo is there's an eye on the palm of her hand, which is that will definitely come back. And this is something she can't really fucking hide, right?
Nope.
And I think this is a big reason or a big thing that leads her to thinking that Rhysand is trying to get to Tamlin because Tamlin's obviously going to see that tattoo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my question then becomes like, how is he using her as a pawn, right? How is he, in what way is he going to try and get to Tamlin? Try and, poke the bear, right? Or wolf, I should say.
Mm.
um, and I'm starting to think he's trying to make Tamlin worried that
Yeah.
she's gonna be with him instead.
Yeah.
Or at
Yeah.
least that he's trying to woo her or in the romantic realm, right? Like
Right.
he's trying to
He's
take
trying to make
Tam
him jealous.
try to make him jealous. Exactly. Take
He's trying to
Feyre
make him
away from
jealous.
Tamlin. Yes.
Yeah. It's a very base animalistic thing that no matter how fucking powerful you are, it hits us all,
Of
right? It
course.
affects every single one of us. Just
Yeah.
imagine your most disliked human making some kind of visual evidence of their relationship with your person
Yep.
on their body.
Yep.
Ugh, it
Yeah.
just makes me wanna throw up. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just it's and it's almost like the tattoo it's almost like Rhysand's like, "Cool, I'm basically, like, done. This is gonna
Yeah.
fuck him up. Like, this is gonna be awful." Um, like, he even says on 336, he's like, "I think I'll wait to tell him until the moment's right, though," Rhysand said. The gleam in his eyes told me enough. Rhysand hadn't done any of this to save me, but rather to hurt Tamlin,
Yeah.
and I'd fallen into his trap. But it's just like he's just sitting there just like, "Ah, yes, this is gonna be so good." Fucking
Oh.
asshole. But, like, it's like the damage is done,
Oh. Well, he
right?
even he even says to her on the same page because he points out like she's not even thanking
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah.
He says, "Unless this lack of gratitude and appreciation is because you fear a certain High Lord's reaction." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
which he's like,
So
he's fucking with her too.
oh, totally. He totally. So,
Yeah.
but then the fucking with feels so he's doing a lot just to fuck with Tamlin. So it's
He's being
just
very
like
extra.
this is very extra.
Yeah.
Which also leads me I really want to know what went down with them. I really want to know like
Oh my
I
god. It
feel
has to
like
be
there's
bad.
gotta it has to be bad. It has to be really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it's just there's a lot of questions here, but I the one thing that I know that I feel very strongly about is that I heavily support her in making this bargain.
1,000%. Like she would have died. Like she would
Yeah,
have died. She had no other choice. Like you said, we will deal with Rhysand later. Right
it's
now, we just have to survive the moment.
we gotta
And
survive it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you had anything more to say in this chapter, but not for nothing, he continues to help her in the next
Well,
chapter.
I actually do because one thing that
Yeah.
we did not bring up that is very, very, very painful
Mm,
is what we learn because I do think this could come into play as to potentially why we can't trust that Lucian's gonna come because
yeah.
Lucian, we learn, gets punished for his outburst in the
Yeah.
task. And I
Yeah.
think this is an important thing to bring up because
Yes.
this makes the idea of Lucian coming feel less and less possible.
Yes.
Because we learn,
Yeah.
page 332, Rhysand is saying, between you and me, he, referring to Lucian, has been keeping a low profile after his rather embarrassing outburst at your trial.
Mhm.
Amarantha is not exactly pleased with him. Tamlin even broke his delightful brooding to beg for him to be spared.
Yeah.
Such a noble warrior, your high lord. She listened, of course, but only after she made Tamlin bestow Lucian's punishment, 12 lashes.
Yeah.
So Tamlin had to whip Lucian,
Yeah.
which is awful,
Yeah.
because of Lucian's outburst
Yes.
for trying to save Feyre. To your left, in the
Yeah.
first task. So this leads me to believe Is he heavily wounded? Or also, I bet you anything he's being watched 10 times
Oh,
more than he was being watched before.
bare minimum. That is the bare
So,
minimum. It's probably both.
yes. So this I think leads I honestly feel like this gives us another thing of like I don't know if Lucian is really going to be able to come. Like this kind of feels, and we know Tamlin can't. Like
Yeah.
this feels like the final in my mind kind of like nail a little bit,
She
right?
was completely out of options other than to take Rhysand up on his bargain.
Yeah. I honestly just feel like Feyre didn't have any choice.
He godfathered her. He made her an offer she couldn't refuse.
He made her an offer
Like,
she couldn't refuse. And also like because yeah, I would like us to move on to the next chapter as well, but
yeah.
like the way this male like speaks to her and the way he is able to like read certain things, which it's like okay, he could be reading her mind,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't quite, but it does seem like when he's reading her mind she can feel like the
Yeah.
Talon in her mind, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and she doesn't feel that a lot. So it's just the way that they kind of speak to each other. I don't know.
It's curious.
It's very curious and it's just like weird to me how he's like I mean it goes along with the whole dark morally gray character because it's
Yeah.
just like he's like flirting with her while
Yeah.
she's like dying.
Yes.
The one thing that I do really love too is I do feel like this male has really got her number because I think there's a really funny line um on 334 when he's kind of doing the last offer, right? And this is
Mm.
right before she starts bargaining and he's about to leave and she spits at him
Yeah. I'm
and
like,
he's girl and he says, "I bet you'll be spitting on death's face when she comes to claim you too."
yeah.
And it's so funny to me, honestly, because I just feel like bruh has like totally read her. Like he's making a joke of being like, yeah, you can spit on me and you'll spit on death when she comes to you. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But he's kind of like showing that he sort of understands there's this level of bite that Feyre has.
Yes.
And I kind of dig that he like sees it. I gotta be honest.
On like he
It's
knows
kind of
she's a girl
great.
with he knows she's a girl with some moxie. And I think he kind of
Yeah.
likes it. You know what I
Yeah, I think
mean?
he does.
Like, I think, I can only imagine with how scary he is. I doubt many people challenge him
Yeah.
often,
Yeah.
especially like under the mountain, right?
Yeah.
So, like, part of me wonders, like, does he like a bit of a challenge?
Yeah. And as you have already pointed out, we already know he doesn't want her dead,
Yeah.
right? And as you have already pointed out, there have already been many opportunities for him to do some pretty grody stuff to her,
Yeah.
right? Not taking that opportunity.
Nope.
Whether he like stays in this villain space, I gotta say, could it be all that bad if he has a crush on her? Meaning, like, or if he kind of like, could this maybe be like kind of an okay out? I don't know.
Look,
I'm
look.
not, and not, I don't mean in the sense of like, we're gonna like start him and Tamlin on an allyship together. It's just
No, no,
more
no.
like under the mountain,
Yeah.
it might be kind of, I don't want to say good, but like informative.
Here's what I'm going to say. On a personal level, purely personal level, as a hardcore former Twilight girly, love a love
Mm.
triangle. Like, love a love
Love a love
triangle.
triangle.
So I'm like personally all for that if that's what is to happen. Um, one last thing I do want to say though, actually about this chapter is, bringing up like you brought up how we kind of figured out he's had plenty of opportunity to do some really horrific shit.
Yeah.
I would think Amarantha would reward that, right?
Him
She would,
doing some shitty shit to her? Yeah.
yeah. And in fact, not just in this chapter, but the next chapter,
Yeah.
he helps her, which is putting him at risk.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have some big questions around that. To your point of like, does he have a little crush? I don't know. Who knows? So Um, Going into the next chapter though, kind of a brief
Yeah.
chapter.
Brief chapter.
Not a ton happens, but we get some more info, I feel, that
Yeah.
might come into play later, might not. But we get these 2 chores, which if you recall when Feyre first came under the mountain, Amarantha told her all of what's, gonna happen, while she's down there. She said in between the 3 main tasks, she's gonna basically earn her keep, right, by doing chores, right? So the first chore she has is she has to scrub the floors of this super grody hall, right? And she gets
Mhm.
taken there by her guards. The hall is caked in mud from the sounds of it. And she's basically given this bucket. I can't remember if the bucket is like filled with dirty water already or if it's just more of like she scrubs, she puts her dirty brush into the bucket, and then she like that's it. Like she can't keep the water
Yeah.
clean, right?
I think it's already dirty. Like, I
Yeah,
think they give her a bucket full of dirty water.
I think you're right. Either
Yeah.
way, it she can't clean this hall, right? It
No.
just keeps
And they've
getting
threatened her that they're
oh,
gonna fucking, tie her to a spit and give her a few good turns over a fire if she doesn't have it cleaned by the time they come back.
yeah, and I do kind of feel like I mean, at this point at the very least the guards know her arm has been healed. I'm sure word has gotten back to Amarantha that it's been healed,
Mhm.
meaning I mean, I think that's why they give her such a I mean, she literally calls it an impossible task on page
Yeah.
338, a task to
Yeah.
torment me.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why they make it so brutal is like,
Yeah.
oh,
This is
how the fuck did that happen? You overcame all the odds somehow. So we're gonna fuck with you more, right?
Yeah, like, this is the game within the game. This
Exactly.
is Amarantha torturing her because the mental torture of both of these chores,
Yeah.
like, what a fucking fuck god damn it. Like, they are some pretty brutal mental tortures
Oh,
because it's the fear, it's the realization you cannot accomplish the task,
yes.
but all you can really do is just keep trying, like, fuck
Right.
off. Yeah.
Which and truly the only reasons why she accomplishes these 2 tasks is because I would say it's a combo of luck is on her side and also her I think good karma in a way, at
Yeah,
least with this first one because
totally.
who comes and saves her? Lucian's mom.
Lucian's fucking mom.
And she literally says, "For giving your name in place of my son's life." And then she points to the bucket with her hand and she says, "My debt is paid." And
Yep.
then magically, like literally magically, the bucket is full of clean water. And she's
Yep.
able to actually clean all the floors in time. And that I think that's kind of the like that's a little more good karma and I guess luck because like I'm curious to know how Lucian's mom knew she was here and like the task she was doing. Like that's really that's interesting to me. Like I don't know how she figured this out, honestly.
I kind of assumed that it was really more that, like, that is a hallway that's where
Mm.
her room is, and she opened the
Oh.
door, and she peered out, and she sees
Yeah.
Feyre struggling, and she makes a choice. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's as simple as that, right?
Or maybe
Because
like gossip, like gossip's right,
yeah.
like, oh, she's being forced to clean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but somehow she learns, and yeah, like, I mean, this I think speaks volumes to Feyre's character of like
Yep.
she's very self-sacrificing for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and it I think we've also gathered some information on the Autumn Court. We know at the very
Yep.
least Lucian's father and brothers are pretty fucking shitty.
Yep.
We saw that in real time a few chapters ago. Um, in the scene where that Lucian's mom references where like Lucian's almost his mind is almost shattered by Rhysand and
Yep.
Feyre steps in. So
Yep.
it's in that same scene that his brothers basically laugh at this, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that his mom doesn't seem to be that way, she
Yeah.
cares for her son clearly. That is a little bit of information, I think,
It
that
is.
we'll
It
see if that
is.
returns or not. But it's interesting. So Feyre
Mhm.
completes this chore, and I think that pisses off. probably Amarantha,
Yeah.
because then she's given this second impossible task, which is she's taken to someone's room and is told, you got to sort these lentils that I guess some servant spilled in the ashes of the fireplace. You got to
Yeah.
sort them from the ashes, which, like, to me, like, that is definitely a, like, we're fucking with you type of chore, because it's like,
Oh, yeah.
why not just clean up both the lentils and the ashes? Right?
Yeah, yeah, that feels like pick out all the red jelly beans
Yeah.
from this, 200-pound pack.
Yes.
Like, that's but harder,
Yeah.
right? Like, this like, it feels so like
You can't do
you
it.
can't well, also, you can't hide that this is a "fuck you" task,
Right.
right? Like, the water one, maybe. This one is
Yes.
such a "fuck you" task that it's just like, "Alright,
It's stupid.
tight.
It's stupid.
Love that."
But then this is where her luck comes into play, because whose room is it? It's Rhysand's room.
Yeah, of course it's fucking Rhysand's room. God
Which
damn it.
brings me to a question, because the guards tell her um that basically if she doesn't clean it before the occupant returns, he'll peel your skin off in strips, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm wondering. I mean, I definitely think bare minimum this was a fuck you task for Feyre,
Mhm.
but I think this task had a dual purpose. I think this was to actually test Rhysand too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I think if this were anyone else, he probably would peel their skin off or do something equally as horrific, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So that leads me to wonder, is Amarantha testing Rhysand as well? Because let's not forget, Amarantha knows Rhysand bet on her.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I don't know about all the other High Lords. We know Tamlin and Lucian cannot. Well, Lucian actually can heal, but he can only heal because Amarantha gave him a little bit of his power back to entice Tamlin into
Yeah.
caving to her demands, which leads me to wonder how many people under the mountain, other than Rhysand and Lucian, have healing powers. I'm going to
Yeah.
guess few to none.
Yeah.
And since we know Lucian can't go into her cell anymore, at least at this time, I'm wondering if she figured out, Amarantha figured out Rhysand healed her arm and
Yeah.
is trying to prove that, or see if he did, by giving her this task and seeing
Yeah.
if he's going to do anything to her.
Yeah.
In which case, if that is true, he fucking failed.
I mean, I think he probably proves her point to a degree,
Yeah.
right? Because when the guards come back,
Yeah.
right, Rhysand basically like does the chore, right? Like he
Yeah.
separates the lentils and the ash, and so like and he gives it whatever. But
Yeah.
like I think everyone probably knows like there's no way that Feyre could have done that. So
That's
I
true.
agree. I think it is uh a a test to
Yeah.
just kind of see how he's going to respond to
Yeah.
Feyre being in his room.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's from the betting because we know it's not because of the bargain, right?
Right.
Because when Feyre is basically like, Was this your idea? Is this why I'm here?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No one, you know,
No one knows
no one
about our
no one knows
bargain.
about our bargain yet. Like don't worry."
Yes.
His little like shame writing you a bit hard. Oh my god. I think
Oh
what
my,
really
what an
pisses me
asshole.
off, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm really going to expose myself here. What really, really pisses me off is Rhysand flirts my favorite way. This is literally
Yeah.
my favorite way of
Yep.
flirting. This like really intense banter.
Yeah.
Um these little snarky comments. Like this is how I flirt with Ariel. Like
Yeah.
this is I am like this is how I flirt with people. This is how my partner and I still after 11 years, this is how we flirt with each other. Like
Yes.
and so I am very annoyed because I'm just like, bitch, how do you want me to feel about this guy? Because the way he all the little comebacks, and honestly, this chapter is very sexual. Like he
Oh
shows up on
yeah.
the bed and
On a
he's like
silk bed.
on a silk bed. Although that but looks like he never sleeps in, question,
Oh, questions about
right?
that.
Lots of questions. But like and also the room doesn't look very lived in, interesting.
Mm.
Um But the fact that he appears out of darkness, laying on this bed, like flirting with her.
I totally imagine, by the way, Burt Reynolds style on the bear rug, like, propped up, you know?
Yes, 100%. But like I'm not joking. I literally wrote, "This guy, he flirts the way I like. It's annoying." Like literally that is a note that I have here. So I agree. I think it could be a test, but it's just my God.
It's very much giving 10 Things I Hate About You in a lot of ways, of just,
It
like, that
is.
annoying, like, I hate you, but there's
Yes.
something sexy about you,
Fuck. Exactly. Well, you know
and it
what's
makes you
really
hate
funny?
them more.
I just realized Feyre actually says to Rhysand, or it's a test for you.
I forgot yep. No, she
Yeah,
does
she
call it
literally
out.
says, "You said you bet on me during my first task." She didn't seem
Yep.
pleased about that.
Yeah.
Rhysand goes, "And what could Amarantha possibly have to test me about?" This is when we really get a kind of a discussion
Yeah.
about Claire, right? Because
Yeah.
she says, "You lied to her about Claire. You knew very well what I looked like." And then we switch in. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place, team, but
No.
this is so much like when we first met him on
Calamine?
Calamai.
Yeah.
How we keep getting these back and forths of like Feyre being annoyed with him, but then the description, because then right after this is Rhysand set up in a fluid movement and braced his forearms on his thighs, such grace contained in such a powerful form.
Like,
Why
girl.
are we doing that? Exactly. Because you lied to her, and then he's like, Amarantha plays her games and I play mine. It gets rather boring down here day after day. Um oh sorry. And then this also leads us into, we kind of learn that on Fire Night, Calamai,
Yeah.
that he was actually out there
Oh,
for himself, not for
yeah.
Amarantha, and that
Yes.
he got punished for it.
Yeah. So what's up with that?
What is up with that?
Well, and then pair all of that, right, with the fact that he helps her here. He
Yeah,
like you said, collects all the lentils with his magic into the bucket.
yeah.
He cleans her up with his magic, which he really does not need to
Keeps
do.
keeps
And then
cleaning her.
keeps cleaning her, and at the very end, the last page of the chapter on page 344, once the guards come to get her, he I think glamours them because it's described as like they kind of like go into this
Dude.
weird daze, and he
Yeah.
says no more household chores, no more tasks, and then says their yellow eyes were glazed and dull, their sharp teeth gleaming as their mouths slackened. Tell the others to stay out of her cell and don't touch her. If you do, you're to take your own daggers and gut yourselves. Understood? That is going above and beyond, right?
Bro.
And so I am left wondering, with all this information from this chapter and all the information from the last chapter and the bargain in particular, either Feyre is a much more important player
Right. Right.
than we have been led to believe,
Yeah.
or for some reason he cares about her.
Yeah.
And we don't
Yeah.
know why, other than like he's developing a crush, maybe?
Yeah.
But like, why would a Fae
I
I mean, I guess Tamlin's in love with her, but like we saw how their love developed, right?
Yeah,
Like that
that
makes
that had a
sense.
process to it. That had like
Yes.
that had a beginning and a middle. Like we saw, I
Right.
mean it was quick, but we saw it
They live
and we're
together.
there.
Like,
So,
but
yeah,
why
this
would Rhysand, for as little of time as he's known her, develop a crush on a human girl?
yeah, the glamour feels above and beyond. And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like why? Because I mean, the only thing I can think of is, as someone who has read a fair amount of romances at this point,
Yeah.
there is kind of always this the misunderstood villain
Yeah.
or morally gray character or whatever, that the main character either ends up having a romantic thing with, or they end up becoming friends, or they become allies or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's because the villain or morally gray character notices that this other character is not afraid of them. Actually,
Yes.
like, will sass them back,
Yeah.
can read some of their things, can like blah 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 blah. And Feyre has been pretty fucking verbally spicy to Rhysand
Yeah.
pretty much ever since the first time they've actually, like, obviously not the very very first time. Well, I guess actually the very first time when we don't know it's
Yeah.
him yet, but like,
Right.
and this is kind of a trope a little bit of like
Yeah.
when you feel like some like these kind of scary people when they feel like someone is finally not scared of them. There's kind of this weird affection sometimes that happens.
Yep.
Um but yeah, I agree. I think you bring up good points. Either she is far more important than we know as readers yet,
Yeah.
or he's developed some kind of thing. I mean, he has mentioned that it's very boring under the mountain. This
Yeah.
could be the most entertaining time he's had in a long time.
Yeah.
And like, but that could still go with what we're saying of like maybe there's an element of that he enjoys that she gives him some type of entertainment, so he kind of wants
Right.
to like keep that around for a while and he doesn't want to see that die. I don't know. Cause and I bring up the sort of like sometimes you get this like weird companionship between these two
Yeah.
kinds of characters that don't always happen because um Farrah says this thing in page 343 when she kind of starts realizing that she's kind of asking some of these questions. They're kind of just like blurting out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And she literally says, "Only around him did I have trouble keeping my mouth shut, it seemed." I
Yeah.
think this is interesting because when she was first around Lucian and Tamlin,
Mm.
she had a lot of fear,
Yeah.
right? And to be fair, the Feyre that we're seeing now has gone through a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that she's even kind of clocking that there's this level of just like she's just fucking blurting shit out.
She's
Cuz like it
unfiltered.
is, she's unfiltered. Like she's asking about his power, she's asking about
Yeah.
shifting, she's asking about Claire, she's asking about so many things. And also what's interesting is that he is answering a lot of these questions too.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to ignore what's going on. It's hard to understand what's actually going on. Because the
Yes.
other thing I find interesting is even before when she realizes that she's just like, she can't keep her mouth shut around him,
Yeah.
after he shows his dragon like self,
Yeah.
um, he's like, no attempts at flattery. And she's like, you have a high enough opinion of yourself already. I doubt the flattery of a little human matters much to you. He let out a low laugh that slid along my bones, warming my blood. What?
I look.
What?
I feel like the first time I read this, I think I felt as confused as Feyre did. You know what I mean? Of just like,
Yeah.
what is going on here? Like
Yeah.
between like
Like, did we
from the both
forget
of
why
you.
we're here? We're here for Tamlin. God damn
Which
it.
look, she is still dedicated to that cause. Like, do not get me wrong. But yeah, this is their plans are being fucked up, I think, in
Oh yeah.
all sense of the word and all ways. Yeah, it's I there's I think a very big question mark around Rhysand. I know I've said this before about Lucian that like he feels like a little bit like Loki, like the Greek mythological Loki, both in terms of
Yeah.
Greek mythology and the Marvel character.
Yeah.
I now think Rhysand feels more that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Me
know?
too.
Like
Yeah.
there's just I mean, especially if you think of like the Tom Hiddleston
Yeah.
version of Loki of just like
Yeah.
there's something
Yes. The
very
smirk.
trickstery, the smirk.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sexy and you're just like, why am I having these feelings about that?
Right.
Like, but also let's not forget, I do want to remind everyone, pretty much every high fae is sexy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like,
No, no. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even Amarantha is through and through a bad person, right? Like, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. And even Amarantha is sexy, right? So,
Yeah.
like, it could just simply, like, if we Occam's razor this, it could just
Totally.
be they're all sexy as hell. And, like, it's
Totally.
gonna give you some feelings no matter what. But there is something, there's something,
But we've never had these kinds of feelings when Lucian talks to her.
no.
Although he's
Well,
not a high lord.
I will say, to be fair, in all fairness, devil's advocate, um, there are many people in the fandom who do feel that way about
No, I no,
Lucian.
no, but I mean actual
Feyre.
sentence,
Yes.
Feyre, like, proof.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know. It's just and and I also think it's very important that Feyre isn't really we're hearing about Feyre's body warming and stuff like that, but Feyre is not mentally
No.
acknowledging any of this, right?
No.
Which makes a ton of sense because why the fuck would she, you know?
Right.
Um, so it's just all very confusing. And the one more thing I want to bring up before we like
Yeah.
wrap up is that Rhysand also reveals something I think very interesting, which is she asks him for help on the riddle. Okay.
Yes. This is big.
And 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 she's like, and he's like, oh, cheating. And she's like, well, she never said I couldn't ask. And he's like, well, actually, after you left, she basically told us that like none of us can help you.
Yeah.
He says, even if I felt like helping you, I couldn't.
Yeah.
She gives the order and we all bow to it. It's a good thing she likes me, isn't it?
Which, like,
Which this guy. And then he goes, don't waste your breath. I can't tell you. No one here can. If
yeah.
she ordered us all to stop breathing, we would have to obey that too.
Yeah. Which now
So
makes me
this,
wonder. It makes me
yeah,
wonder, like, I think the curse is a lot bigger than we
yeah,
thought before.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it also makes me feel a little bit like, okay, what did she tell Tamlin not to do?
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yep.
this could answer a lot of things.
Yes.
Also, I get a vibe that Rhysand doesn't like this.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I will bring it up again. Rhysand is a high lord, right? He's a very
yeah,
powerful high lord, and I cannot imagine, even when you're allied with someone,
yeah.
I can't imagine that you like it when anyone forces you to do what they want.
And take part of their power. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, Rhysand does not give the vibes of someone who likes having any type of authority figure anyone
No.
have authority over him. Like I I
No.
I don't get that vibe like at
Yeah.
all. So, yeah, but I don't the whole thing about like I really want to know more about if she ordered us like we have to. Like
What does that entail?
what what does that entail? What does that mean? Like we got a few things in these 2 chapters that could maybe explain some of Tamlin being the way that he's being, like,
Yes.
you know? And then we're now just wildly confused about this Rhysand character. I mean, currently I am like weirdly thankful for him because
Right?
baby girl would be dead.
Yeah. The book would be over.
Um Book would be over. And now she doesn't have to do these fucking dumb chores anymore.
Right? But then that begs the question, what is she gonna do with her
What is she gonna
time?
do? Because now she basically just has I mean, she still has like a month till the next task, right? Or like 3 weeks
So
maybe? Like maybe
yeah.
this whole thing took the span of like a week or something?
Yeah. Well, we might find out what she does in her spare time in
Yeah.
next week's reading.
Yeah.
So, next week we're just going to cover chapter 39. It's a pretty chunky chapter.
It is.
Not a long read, but there's a lot to discuss within this
Yeah.
read. Um, in the meantime, we would love it if you we'll make a bargain with you if you subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And the bargain is you subscribe, rate, and review. You get more of us. That's the
Yeah.
bargain.
You have to come back once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to visit you have to visit us for an hour and a half once a
Yep.
week.
Yep. And if you want to do some extra credit, come a little bit more, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Cauldron Save Us at Pod. Look at us in the puns.
Oh my god.
And if you really, really want to make a solid bargain with us, you can if you want to let us know what you want in return, I should say.
Oh, wow.
You can email us at cauldronsaveus@gmail.com.
Yep.
Man, a lot of feelings this week. A
A
lot of
lot of
feelings.
feelings this week. And you guys, we're like, there's
We're near the
45
end.
chapters in this book.
Yeah.
We're about to do chapter 39. Like, we're,
Final stretch here.
yeah, final stretch.
Oh, man. It went by so
Crazy.
fast.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. It did and it didn't.
Yeah, 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 no, that's true. That's true.
Oh, well, our darling friends, thanks for coming along as always, and you're welcome.
And we're sorry.
Bye.
Bye.